Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the DarkMatch. I'm the Lone Warrior.
I'm Christopher says DarkMatch is Mastodon on the monotone.
I'm the fat one, Subrick.
And I am your foxy friend Backlash, and once again it is time for yet another edition of What is Iron Sheik Tweeting? I watched the football today with the cold beer. Everyone who don't can go fuck themselves.
He's become an American landmark.
Well, Sheik does love his cold beer.
Hey, you can't blame him.
Quite an American tweet, strangely from an Iranian.
No, I think
maybe he's talking about like soccer football. Who knows? Well, regardless, we have a very interesting week of WWE wrestling.
Interesting. That's putting it nicely.
That's...
Interesting is putting it extremely lightly. So, before we start getting into deep discussions, let us go to this past Monday, to WWE Monday Night Raw Super Show. We start off with a nice little video package about what happened with last week with all the superstars and the referees and the crew and the cameramen and the
divas.
The divas, yes, it doesn't say divas on here, but why would it? They all walked out on Triple H. They all walk out on Triple H. They all walk out on Monday Night Raw, but they aren't walking out on the house shows, Superstars, NXT, or SmackDown.
Which is silly.
Peculiar.
But let's not get into that.
That's the trapping of wrestling in general. You can't... They're still going to be advertised because they have to draw for house shows.
It's because despite being the CEO of all of WWE, the WWE roster thinks that Triple H is merely the COO of Raw, and therefore will not show up. So this week, we start out with an arena devoid of backstage personnel, or announcers or crew members, or
there's that one guy in the blue shirt.
Divas. The only people that didn't participate in the hippie sit-in in the parking lot were the cameramen and the guys in the production truck.
Or Triple H taught his friends how to do it in hours before the show.
Yes,
that actually would have been a funny.
Put them through the Triple H crash course on television production.
We didn't hear. We can hear
To be
Kevin.
fair, we know if Scott Hall was holding a camera.
We didn't hear Kevin Dunn leave.
Well, this would have been an awesome show just to see Triple H running around the entire arena trying to do the jobs of like 50 different people at once.
He's a cameraman, he's a wrestler, he's a referee.
He's commentating, he's refereeing, and he's running himself.
Yes, he's taking a page out of JR's book and he's commenting on his own match as he puts himself into a submission hold.
Or he'd also be at ringside at JR shouting at like when JR was shouting at Jack Swagger to attack the other leg. You were attacking the other leg. Why did you go to the other leg?
But anyway, we get a little backstage romp where no one's there. Triple H walks out of his locker room or his dressing room or his office, whichever one it is.
There was a guy in a blue shirt.
The only person, apparently, other than the four dudes in the ring, that seem to have any solidarity with Triple H. So Triple H comes out, and he says that at least the fans showed up, and he talks about everyone walking out on Raw last week. The crowd boos, because they're probably trained to do that. And he says they're all having in the parking lot they're striking, they're having a solidarity rally, and he makes fun of them for whining about work conditions. And he says they all have their wrestling gear, but none of them will step into the building to wrestle unless he steps down.
Then he asks...
Just from a logic standpoint, why exactly, if they do not plan on wrestling, why bring their gear?
Because they're going to be back in half an hour, and that's something that you could easily forget within a month's time.
Because maybe they're starting their own wrestling company.
The World Rock Federation, for those that remember that. But anyway,
So Triple H asks the fans what he should do. Like, should he walk away? Should he quit? And the fans are like, no. And he says, and Triple H admits that, maybe he should go because it would be good for the company. But then he adds that he's never been a quitter. It's just not in him. So he starts getting worked up and going on about how if he has to, he'll wrestle a broomstick for 2 hours. And since he's wrestled most of the guys out there, he knows he can get a better match.
That's basically what I said, because he says, I've wrestled most of the guys in the parking lot. I could get a better match wrestling a broom handle for 2 hours. And a lot of people are taking that as burying the entire roster. And I have to say,
No.
Well, kind of.
Sort of, but in the context of what he was talking about, he wasn't talking about how, like, just out of the blue, like, I can have a better match with, half the wrestlers. He was pissed at them for, not wanting to work.
And it's Triple H. He's a dick when he's upset or when he's mad.
Or in general.
Yeah. So he's going to say, either way, he's going to give the fans a show tonight, and then Cena's music hits.
Yes, and then Cena comes out, and he says that he runs down the list of all the people that he has worked for. Vince McMahon, Eric Bischoff, Vicky Guerrero, 50-something Raw guest hosts, an anonymous computer, and Mike Adamle.
Why did
it's always good to get an Adamle bash in there.
Yes, Cena says that he loves the WWE, and he loves how unsafe it is. And he's saying because he wears the word loyalty on his sleeve, and it's a principle, not a word.
I mean, yeah, like people are getting fireman carry slammed through gratings off of cars, but he likes it because he's the one doing it.
Yeah, and he had made the comment that you had all of the superstars reaching out to him to get him to join their rally, and how he wasn't talking to anyone, and Triple H never approached him, and he was like, he knew that what he decided would help tip the scales of whatever happened. And then after he pledges his loyalty to Triple H, Sheamus' music hits.
Now known as the Great White, as per the Minitron.
Mm-hmm.
The Great White, formerly King Miracle Whip, formerly, Lobster Head, and all those other lovely little nicknames. So he talks about his past with Triple H. He says he was trying to make a name for himself. Says Hunter didn't file a lawsuit or anything. He came back and gave him an ass whooping. It would be different today. They both know it. There's a lot of respect for Triple H. He's tried to stick to the same principles Hunter has. And he says that he won't take part in the stuff that's happened in the parking lot and sit up there with all the losers. And so he stays too. Then out comes CM Punk.
And to be fair, this is a guy who you'd think would be well behind this. But he comes out and he admits that, he's probably the cause of all of this.
Yeah, nothing else can be said about CM Punk throughout everything. Like, whenever any kind of heel makes a move, he's very verbally self-sacrificial. Like, he doesn't, he takes accountability for shit. He doesn't berate heels for being heels.
Yeah, like when Alberto Del Rio cashed in Money in the Bank on him, he said that he didn't blame Del Rio because he himself had done it in the past.
But nonetheless, like, his contributions to this company, both kayfabe and shoot, are goddamn. You can't overrate him.
Yeah, and as he says, he's not the type of guy who walks out. He's the type of guy who will be in there to fight. And when he left, it was because his contract had expired.
Right.
So with that, he asked Triple H the age-old question. So, what do we do now?
And Triple H is like, well, we might as well work with what we have. You and Sheamus, you and Cena can lock up because you're both wearing gear. For some reason.
He says that, and then Hunter says that since I'm the only one really wearing stripes out here, or anything close to stripes, I'll be the referee. And then points CM Punk to the announce table and says, "There's a whole table there with pipe bombs waiting for you." And then, in probably the best thing of the entire night, and this is by far the best thing because you'll know after we finish recapping the rest of it. Punk looks over there and he's like really just like anxious, and then he's very excitedly asks Hunter, "Can I wear your blazer?" You can even wear my blazer. I'm in.
Oh God, I love it, and I can never complain about Punk being on commentary.
And then he goes over there. He puts on Hunter's blazer, and then he goes over to the ring bell, and he pretends to act like he doesn't know how to do it.
And he rings it twice instead of thrice.
Then we start off the match, and the thing that I like about this is because when Punk is on commentary for this little bit, he's actually calling the match.
Yes, and
that's not going to happen for much longer.
And no one can call him consistent because he's sitting Indian style on the announce table, or excuse me, on the chair.
I think that if this stupid little announcers teams, the announcer teams that that WWE has now, I think that people would rather take a team made out of CM Punk, Joey Styles, and Bryan Alvarez as the fucking commentator team.
Oh,
actually, I'd take Joey Styles and no one else, but if he was in the equation. I don't.
At this point, Randy Rosenblum is better than Michael Cole and Booker T.
I'd almost want Tenay and Taz.
Serves the purpose.
Oh
yeah, but we touched on this last night, talking about how Tenay and Taz, they at least call the matches. I mean, they say stupid shit too, but they're calling the matches. I don't know, but this match, do you even want to call it a match? Because it almost goes instantly to commercial. And when we come back, the match is pretty much ending so they can start up the next segment.
Yes. And who else would walk out in the middle of this but Vince McMahon?
Now, apologies for interrupting, but to divert just for a second, I'm Christopher Says, the Mastodon of the Monotone, and a lot of people consider my lack of reaction to everything that followed on this Raw dull surprise. Suffice it to say, I didn't really give a shit about a lot of the storyline developments this week or last week. However, I had a major problem with Vince being the one to interrupt it. Major problem. I thought that was completely cheap. I thought they could have gotten any quasi-authority figure to fill in the role. And
why didn't they have Stephanie do it?
Yeah, and it puts into question, like, what Vince's role is after he's fired. So he's not the chairman, but he's still...
He is the chairman. He's not the COO. He doesn't run the day-to-day operations. He's still the chairman of the board.
Does he not have any say?
He doesn't have any power over the day-to-day operations. He runs the corporate side of the company. He doesn't run... Well, he runs the board.
But, yeah. I still don't, like... It basically said to me, like, it was obvious that he was going to return, like, at the culmination of this entire thing, whenever or however that'll happen. But you don't need to say that to the casuals. Like, he should have been gone as much as he was, like, in 2010 when he wasn't getting his ass beat by Bret Hart in the next season.
Yeah.
And then, so Vince McMahon comes out and he shoos Sheamus and John Cena from the ring. And actually, the very first person to bolt is CM Punk.
Yeah.
And then,
does anyone know if he returned the blazer?
Yes, he did actually, because I saw him when I was watching it. I saw him walking out without the blazer.
Ah, damn it!
It would have been awesome if he took the blazer though and he kept it.
Yeah, because I know later on they show Triple H and he doesn't have it, so he obviously didn't grab it.
Yeah. But then, so Vince apologizes for interrupting the match. He says he got here as soon as he could. You know, statements like that in wrestling I don't get, because you have an entire day to be able to get out to the ring or to get out to the state where you're doing the show in, and they only manage to arrive just as something is happening.
I mean, hell, if they want to have it be in keeping with the sort of reality blur, then they could have Vince McMahon hold a press conference before Raw.
Yeah, like
start
when
of
they did the announcement that he sold Raw to Donald Trump. They did a mini press conference during a Raw for that.
Yeah,
Like,
but
something like that would be better than him interrupting the only good segment of this show. I mean, this is one of the few instances where I'd say that I'd rather watch a John Cena match than what was about to happen.
Hey,
yes.
John Cena's damn good on TV if he's tagging.
Yeah.
He plays as long as he doesn't determine the finish and it's a group effort.
Well, it is Sheamus too, so
Yeah.
Sheamus rocks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Vince says that he needs to have a word with Triple H, and he says he thanks them for standing up for what they believe in, and thanks the fans for standing up for what they believe in, and thanks Triple H and the Occupy Wall Street protesters for standing up for what they believe in. And he says watching Raw from home has been a hoop. Who uses that word hoop anymore? I don't know.
I guess Vince McMahon.
Well, come on, it's Vince. He's so behind the times that it's not even funny.
Yes, and then he says that the board is sympathizing with the people striking in the parking lot, and he met with them late this afternoon, and he said that the walkout may spiral out of control, and he said may lead to cancellation of live events, pay-per-views, no Raw. Actually, he says he puts Raw after WrestleMania, like Raw is more important than WrestleMania.
Well, considering WrestleMania this year, yeah. Well, I mean, no, like, I say that very exaggeratedly. Like, The Rock is a pretty fucking huge thing for the company, but...
Yeah. And don't forget possibly, a Stone Cold match, if they play their cards right.
Hmm.
But yeah, the board is worried about a financial catastrophe, and so they say that Vince says that on behalf of the board of directors, his services of running Raw are no longer needed. This is where every single face on the roster is made to look really fucking stupid. Because Vince says that no member of the McMahon family will be running Raw. The board wants someone independent and with morals. So until they find that person, they have found an interim general manager to run Raw. That person is the Executive Vice President of Talent Relations, John Laurinaitis.
So I guess we've officially dropped the whole plotline of the anonymous general manager.
Yes.
Yeah, because...
Well, then I have to thank WWE for wasting our time.
It'll probably be Mick Foley.
I really have to thank WWE for wasting our time for well over a year with that story.
I don't think anyone really cared about it.
We can remember the good things. We can remember the good things like Edge destroying a computer and arguing with it.
Yeah, the only time I really cared about that angle was when it started speaking as GLaDOS, and hey.
Yes. And as Edge is beating it up, as Edge is beating it with a chair, it's screaming, "Help me, Cole! Stop him!"
So
yeah,
Laurinaitis comes out.
Funkman Johnny Ace, the dynamic douche, is the new general manager of Raw. Interim bullshit. Then they come back from commercial. He's shaking hands with all the talent that entered the building, including some of the faces. And now for our weekly Barry segment of the week, John Morrison comes up to him and says that you should be careful what he wished for, because John Laurinaitis absolutely sucks. And he says, "Don't change," Laurinaitis says to Morrison, and go straight to the ring for a match. Christian comes up next, says this is the best decision the board of directors has ever made. We should get rid of the interim title and make Laurinaitis the permanent general manager. And so, Laurinaitis, appreciating Christian's suck-uppiness, he tells Christian to go face Morrison now in the ring, and
he can bring some of his friends.
Yes, he brings Vicky Guerrero's entourage.
Yeah, and back in the arena, JR comes out, and he gets a nice reaction, and Lawler comes out, and he gets a nice reaction, and Cole comes out running his goddamn mouth.
Yes.
He's not even near
that's what he does. Are you really surprised?
That's Michael Cole's gimmick.
And he's just old Mitchell Cole. But yeah, this match, as you'd expect, is pretty much a squash. Like, Morrison is about to do the Starship Pain. He misses, lands on his feet, and then the heel cadre attacks him. Which it's like, oh, big surprise. They're the main voices of this whole walkout. They they harangue people who actually do have legitimate problems, although with Triple H, they want a regime change, although they don't agree with, they probably don't know nor agree with Laurinaitis, getting them all together backstage and planning something with them. So now that Laurinaitis is in charge, they have free reign. And honestly, no one can do anything about it, because no one has as big a voice as, Wade Barrett. Fuck. That's awful.
Yeah. So, did we even talk about the match?
No, because it's
there wasn't really much
it's the weekly John Morrison Barry segment. What more do we need to talk about it other than John Morrison gets squashed in 10 seconds?
A 2-minute squash match. Nobody cares.
Why, Melina? Why? You're hot as fuck, but why are you fucking up his career?
So, I can't remember. After the match, the heel posse gets into the ring, kicks Morrison's ass some more, and then Laurinaitis comes out and says that he has, or does Laurinaitis? No, wait, damn it. They announced that Laurinaitis has signed Henry versus Orton. And
yes, and this is only the first time this week. Then somewhere out of nowhere, Mark Henry starts making his way down to the ring. And then we come back from break, and Johnny Ace is on the phone with his wife, asking her how he looked. Triple H walks into the office and is mad. You can tell he's mad because he has a very stern look on his face. He doesn't actually emit any anger.
Let me take this one. Basically, Triple H just says to Laurinaitis in the best growly voice he could muster, he asks him, "Have you ever tried to pick up your own teeth with a bunch of broken fingers?" And then he just leaves.
This is
I get what they were going. I get what they were doing with it. I get what they were doing with it because it was Triple H questioning Johnny Ace's, love of the WWE and love. No,
I'm sorry. Just because I love this meme, I have to call it. This was pretty much a big-lipped alligator moment.
Well, actually,
I know, because Triple H has basically put his body on the line for this company for the past, 20 years or so. But that was just a corny thing to say.
More to the point, this is kind of like a couple years ago when he had done that "you cut off the tail to kill the dog" line. It was like, what? No! Wrong! That's not badass! And that's what he was going for.
No, actually, that's what a lot of dogs do when they have to get domesticated. So
I'll admit it was better than him ripping off lines from Gran Torino.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we cut back to the ring, and Henry's got a mic. He's talking about how, he doesn't back down from anybody if they're the number one contender. And he says, I
don't know why. Who in the production truck just loves these extreme close-ups of Mark Henry's disgusting face? We get it. He's sweaty. He's intimidating looking. Stop putting him that close to the camera.
He looks squinty half the time that he's doing interviews, like he's he's squinting at something in the distance, so you can barely see his eyes under his brow, and it's like I think they're trying to make him look scary, but it's not.
So then we have Mark Henry saying that he took he shows he says that first that he doesn't back down from anyone as long as they're the number one contender. And then he says that Big Show wasn't the number one contender. And then they show the video package, where Mark Henry gets chokeslammed through a table by Big Show and is named the number one contender. So he is the number one contender and was the number one contender. So then they cut back to Henry, and he says that he took all that, he's still here. Then he says, "At vengeance will be mine." And then we hear the disembodied voice of the Ortontron 3000 version beta, I guess.
No, the vengeance will not be yours. It will be mine. The vengeance will be mine, haha. It was kind of...
So, out comes Randy Orton after this, and we get for match number 80... and it's only the first time they wrestle this week. We get Randy Orton versus Mizark.
And the thing is, Orton comes out to the crowd cheering, and then they cut to commercial. So when they come back, the match has already been going for a bit.
But yes, in this match, Cody Rhodes interrupts and a DQ occurs.
Whatever.
That's about the most exciting thing that happens, yeah.
And then, here's the part that I know a lot of people really hate. This is Cody Rhodes. Well, firstly, let me tell you about the implications what this means for Mark Henry. By doing this, it shows once again that Mark Henry can't get a clean win on Randy Orton.
You got 2.
But not after a pay-per-view.
Which is more important?
Regardless, he isn't able to get a clean win on Randy Orton anymore. He needs someone to help him beat up Randy Orton. And then...
Actually, no, but this was mostly Cody's fucking thing. Like, it didn't really have to do with... Cody didn't really...
The problem is that it makes the monster heel not look like a monster. Makes him look like an ordinary, cowardly heel. And so, yeah, Cody Rhodes comes out and starts beating the shit out of Orton.
Orton starts fighting back.
Orton starts fighting back, and then he goes for the RKO, pushes him into Henry, World's Strongest Slam, because he also needs help beating up Randy Orton, even though he's the fucking Mark Henry, World's Strongest Man. He gets another one on Orton. Mark Henry leaves. Cody jumps into the ring, hits the crossroads, and then he calls on his bagger, who looked a bit like Claudio Castagnoli. And
I actually remember hearing about that, but I actually don't remember that.
It was said in the thread. But regardless, he calls for his bagger, which nobody likes anymore, and he doesn't do the baggers on house shows, or his stupid-sounding constipated voice. He puts the bag on Orton's head, and then he says, "Hey, Randy, would you like a receipt with your paper bag? Ha 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 ha." It's like it's more awkward. It's laughing that is more awkward than the awkward laughing from the woman in the Garbage Pail Kids movie.
No, not even from Heath Slater when Wade Barrett had visa problems and he and Otunga and the rest had to helm the Nexus for a week. That was
right.
But,
it actually kind of reminded me of the laugh of Dexter's arch rival from Dexter's Laboratory. You know, ha 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 ha.
Basically, the deal with it was that it was restrained maniacal laughter, and when you do maniacal laughter, you don't want to be restrained. Thus, it's maniacal.
You need to ham it up. That's the point of evil laughter. You need to ham it up.
Fuck. I'll have more to say on this when we get to the end because my thoughts on this segment were more on the writing of the show as a whole. But let's just move on to the next segment because I think we've beaten this well into the ground. We go to commercial and we come back to a Divas match. It's Kelly Kelly and Eve Torres versus Tamina and Rosa Mendez because apparently they're still employed.
Sorry, guys. I'd like to talk about people botching standing up, but no, the bagger was not Claudio Castagnoli.
Who was it?
Checked. It was someone.
Just someone.
Try to advance the show.
Oh, whatever. Firstly, we can't really progress the show when, none of us wants to talk about a Divas match, especially one with Kelly going over again. But the big thing with this match is Rosa Mendez manages to botch the act of standing up straight.
Yeah, to take the handspring back elbow, she stands like a few inches away from the turnbuckle when she should have been leaning against it.
So instead of
Kelly kicks her in the face.
Yeah.
So basically she didn't even have to stand up straight. You could have just fallen back against the turnbuckle.
All she had to do was stand there. She didn't even have to stand up straight. Yeah.
And actually, what she did was she went into the turnbuckle. She looks at Kelly doing the flipping, and as she looks at Kelly doing the flipping, she walks forward. She puts herself in the position of being kicked in the face and fucking up the entire move.
Yeah.
And then, Tamina is the one doing the job here because, that's certainly what the fans want to see, and that's certainly so believable. Tamina, losing clean to Eve Torres.
Why protect Rosa? Why protect Rosa? She's not good. She makes Kelly look like a ring technician.
Out of all the women, the divas that practice martial arts, I think she's the most storied, or she's the most she's the most accomplished in terms of that. I don't know. I thought Rosa Mendez was all right. Guess she's not.
There's a line in the results here that perfectly encapsulates this match and every other Divas match ever. There's botches and divas everywhere.
That was a pretty good line.
That was awesome.
So yeah, Kelly and Eve win, and after the match we see Natalya and the Divas champion Beth Phoenix watching backstage on a monitor. Why? They should have been in the fucking match themselves. She is the Divas champion. Why not have your fucking Divas champion wrestle?
Well, because they've done this. They've done that tag match several times already, and they're going to do it again on SmackDown.
Ugh.
Anyways, let's just get to this next part. This is the point where I completely checked out of the show. This is where I just threw up my head and said, fuck it, this show sucks. Because Johnny Ace, motherfuckers, comes out to the ring and asks JR to take off the headset and get in the ring with him.
Oh, and actually first, before he does that, he sort of passively mentions that Alberto Del Rio will be defending the title at Vengeance against John Cena. He doesn't even make like an official mention. He just sort of like very passingly mentions it, like, "Please, ladies, get out of the ring. Oh, I'm very nervous. Oh, by the way, John Cena versus Del Rio for the title at Vengeance."
Because
anyway.
that's how it works. No need to build up to that. Just like, we were going to have a number one contenders match anyways, but, John Cena was going to win anyway, so yeah. John Cena's going for the title at Vengeance. Anyways, he asked JR to come into the ring, and he mentions that last week he walked out with everyone else. He walked out on the WWE fans and in the state of Oklahoma. He calls him a redneck ingrate and basically tells JR he's fired.
And then the thing with this, though, was that Jim Ross knew nothing about it.
Oh, yeah, Jim Ross and his wife, I believe, they basically cut their asses off guard. There's another in the long line of history of the company screwing Jim Ross.
Why the fuck is Jim Ross staying with
John
this
Morton
company after all they've put him through?
And here's another good question. Why is he the only one getting fired? As I recall, at least 50 other people walked out last week.
Plus, Michael Cole was the first one to walk out. If any of the announcers you should fire, it should be Michael Cole for being the first announcer to walk out.
Technically, Lawler was the first one to walk out.
It's just because Triple H was the one who rehired him, and then JR walked out. He was the last person out of everyone to walk out.
He was the only one that showed any kind of reluctance.
Yeah, but Laurinaitis, I believe the way he had explained it, it's still stupid, but the way he put it was, Triple H signed you and then you walked out on him, and, I have ethics and morals and you're not a loyal employee. So, anyway, JR, he actually takes this in stride. He gets out of the ring, he goes down, he shakes Lawler's hand, and he leaves, and the Michael Cole Bullshit Express begins going full speed.
He starts doing the Santino trumpets and saying this is the best night in the history of Raw. It's fucking stupid, and why the fuck is Michael Cole still on TV? Why the fuck? No one likes him, not even as real heat, it's as X-Pac heat.
No, the question is...
It clearly isn't fucking X-Pac heat.
The question is, what the fuck was the point of that feud between Lawler and Cole if he's still going to be Cole?
Well, we've been over that for the point. But yeah, I would say it is X-Pac heat because I can see people at first finding his character compelling. It's old. It's stale. Everyone stopped giving a shit months ago.
Michael Cole's heel turn
I'm indifferent.
is responsible, I feel, for the greater decline of the commentary teams because they don't talk about the matches anymore. All they do is argue with each other.
I agree with that, but that's kind of the company's priority, and there's really not much we could do about it besides bitch. But like to add something else to this, and this is not a tangent, I promise. What's John Laurinaitis tweeting today? The rumors are true. At JR's barbecue will be part of hashtag Raw in Mexico. No, I didn't ask him back to fire him again. But how great would that be?
Ugh.
You are a bag of douche, Johnny Ace.
So
that's why he's Johnny Ass Chin.
Yeah, let's continue because I'm gonna get really mad talking about
we're gonna move on
the rest
to
of
what
the segment.
what is by default the best match of the night? Because it is the only match that does not end with a bullshit finish, a disqualification, or was a Botchy Divas match. Mason Ryan and Air Boom versus David Otunga, Jack Swagger, and Dolph Ziggler.
And Air Boom has new music, too. It doesn't really fit.
Yeah, well, not so much doesn't fit, it's just forgettable.
It's basic WWE in-house Jim Johnston style music.
Honestly, like, they could have Burn in My Light. It wouldn't make fucking sense, but I'd be glad to hear it.
Yeah. So, yeah, Mason Ryan apparently is the next big thing. Why? Oh, yeah, because he's probably juiced up. Well, yes, he is juiced up.
I still don't know why the hell it's Mason Ryan in the role of Zack Ryder, because it should be Ryder. Ryder was feuding with Ziggler. What happened to that?
Well, again, that'll come back on SmackDown, but this was an okay match, I'll give it that, except that I don't get Mason Ryan's appeal. Other than that, he's basically what WWE looks for in a bodybuilder type.
I will say this. When David Otunga is being more interesting than you, there you are doing something wrong.
And I think I do kind of get what his appeal is. He's Batista without the rumors of being a man whore backstage.
Or the
he also lacks the charisma and talent of Batista.
Yeah, and he also lacks when he was a heel, the beautiful, juicy arrogance.
And he also lacks the ability to create excellent moments out of fucking up promos like Batista.
So in other words, he basically just...
And actually, this match, it leads into a bit of continuity on SmackDown, because apparently, I don't know if this is legit or not, but they're saying that Bourne is injured because Swagger gives him this nasty powerbomb.
Oh, yeah. He legit got a concussion, didn't he? Or was that kayfabe? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember if they mentioned... I don't know if they mentioned what exactly was injured on him on SmackDown. They just said that he was injured.
They said he had a concussion.
Oh. Well, if he comes back to wrestle on Monday or on the house shows, then it's not a real concussion.
Okay. Yeah, that was a very stiff-looking bomb. No other way you could really spin it.
Anyway, the match ends when I think it was just Mason hitting Ziggler with his finisher, whatever the hell that is.
It's a standing black hole slam.
No.
But actually, all he does is he clotheslines Swagger and he pins Ziggler.
Yeah. Yeah, can't say I'm too crazy about them pushing Mason Ryan either. I'm not really can. And like to be fair, like I also can't defend the JR segment, but yeah, like the fuck Mason Ryan.
So after the match, they check on Bourne, who is looking legitimately hurt, and then Then Cole and Lawler decide to talk about the WWE Network. They plug a poll on the WWE website to name the first new show on the network based on WrestleMania. And notice how they do not mention the proposed 24/7 Divas reality show.
Ugh.
Yeah, with one of the choices being heels on heels.
I guess that's the payoff for possibly having WrestleMania for free on TV.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The 24/7 what now?
They're proposing for the WWE Network a reality show that will follow the Divas around 24/7 and make a reality show based off of the footage.
No.
That's going to make their lives very
boring. Yes. Otherwise, you can watch Kelly be a slut.
No, you can't. It'll make their backstage and on the road lives very boring. I feel bad for them, honestly.
So they mentioned that Punk and Del Rio have a match still to come, and that was announced earlier in the night, but I think we missed it. So they go to commercial, and when we come back, they're doing a vignette for Brodus Clay.
I don't get why they're pushing this guy. I don't get why people seem to like him. Yes, he does a good-looking suplex, but
it's because he reminds people of Punch-Out.
Of King Hippo, yeah.
Titus.
He kind of reminds me of a taller, slightly skinnier Taz with this fact that he loves doing fucking the same suplex over and over again.
I don't know about skinnier, dude.
Well, aside from the suplex, he can't really do fuck else all.
You know what it actually looks
He's smooth enough.
Well, no, he looks like a fat tub of lard. He can't talk on the mic.
No, he doesn't look like that. He looks like a fat version of Jesse Neal.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But he's competent in pretty much everything that he does. And of course he has a mean T-bone. But yeah, I kind of agree. I don't think the spotlight should be shown on him just yet.
And then we get a trailer for John Cena's new movie, The Reunion. I already do not know what the hell it's about.
It's an action, dramatic comedy drama.
Oh yeah, it's a
John Cena movie.
Next. Yeah, and then we get the supposed main event. What should have been an awesome match: Alberto Del Rio versus CM Punk. And Del Rio comes out. He comes out first, which is WWE Championship come out last. Then he comes out in a BMW convertible, makes his way to the ring, taking his time, and then apparently it takes him the entire commercial break to make his entrance. Then out comes CM Punk. At least they didn't start the match during the commercial break.
Well, usually when they do that, it's the guy in the ring cutting a promo just for the crowd.
Yeah, and they had shown on the WWE's website that during that break, before they came back, Cole had gotten up and got into the ring to sing "Na na na na, hey hey hey, goodbye" to JR. Because why? We don't hate Cole enough.
For heat.
He does not need any more heat. He could. I've been saying this before. I've said this before. I'll say it again. He could rescue a burning bus full of little children, and people would still boo him. I hate to echo JBL, but for him there can't be enough heat. I see the point. So yeah, this match, it goes for about 5 minutes, and they're doing it's good it's pretty good for the time that they have, because it's Del Rio and CM Punk, and they have some actually pretty good wrestling in it, and then Del Rio tosses Punk out to the floor, and out comes the Executive Vice President of Talent Relations, John Laurinaitis. I'm stopping this match. Instead, I will put Punk and Del Rio in a tag match versus these two men who I have reinstated.
And then there's a long pause, and then he says, Miz and R-Truth. He says, Miz and R-Truth. And, I'll cover this at the once we're done with this match, but it's just... No. I mean, I'm happy that they've been re-signed, that's great or whatever, but at the same time, logic, ow, you bastards.
Yes. Miz and Truth are the reason for the walkout. Pretty directly, because they interfered multiple times at Hell in a Cell, and they beat the shit out of the talent, and they beat the shit out of referees.
Probably at the request of Johnny Ace.
That's all that implied.
Why would the WWE roster come back? Even like they should have another sit-in, another hippie sit-in in the parking lot, another walkout, because Miz and Truth came back.
Not even that. The question is, why would the referees put up with this? The minute that Miz and Truth came out, the referees should have just been like, "No, I'm not doing it." Because these are the assholes attacking them.
Just my weird little bit of trying to put logic to this. Maybe Johnny Ace implied backstage that if anyone rises up against him, they'll be fired like JR was. But that's just my attempting to put logic behind this, because it's very hard.
You and your logic, that makes me laugh.
How dare you try to put logic into this? This is WWE Raw, bitch.
There's no logic to, they're the crowd. They'll believe anything we want. And I don't know. On the subject of this tag match, it's not very good, especially because Del Rio basically leaves almost immediately, faking a knee injury.
And then Punk comes very close to pretty much beating the two of them single-handedly. And then we have a really, really, really awkward finish. wherein Miz and Truth run in to the middle of the ring, and then Charles Robinson, the referee, starts doing the count. The bell rings as he's, like, right before he starts counting 1, and then he starts doing the bell ring symbol.
If I could put over one thing in this segment, Del Rio being one of the people who was a victim of Miz and Truth's attacks was fucking seething with anger, and pretty much, like, his like aggression in the match was goddamn admirable. And people have actually said about him that ever since he won the championship and ever since, like, his promos have become established, he hasn't really been giving it much emphasis, but my God, props to him. Like, he's always been, like, whatever he portrays, he's always done it well, in my opinion. And this night probably was definitely no exception.
Yeah, so after the disqualification, Truth and Miz keep beating up Punk, and then here comes Triple H, who has apparently changed into a t-shirt and jeans. And Triple H hits the ring, and he starts wailing in on, I think he starts wailing on Miz, and Punk gets up like he hasn't been attacked at all and starts beating up on Truth. It was kind of like, it kind of reminded me of how Cena can be sometimes, where it's like, he'll just pretend to be not hurt at all. So Triple H and Punk end up chasing Truth and Miz off, and it cuts backstage to Johnny Aschin and Otunga. And Laurinaitis goes, I think that for vengeance, I'm going to talk to the board of directors to make Triple H and Punk versus Miz and R-Truth for a match. And Otunga goes, yep, that's a great idea.
And then we go off the air with Punk and Hunter posing. And
so that was Raw.
This Raw, which I was on another forum, and someone had given it the wonderful name of WWE Impact.
That's not far off. And you know what? Here's the thing. Because clearly this is the signal that Triple H has been cleared to wrestle regular matches again, and he wanted to get back on the roster as quickly as possible. So I'm guessing that this episode was a very hasty rewrite.
Well,
because that's what it's...
those are the reports.
It was the same thing that happened the week before, because the script for the week before, when they did the walkout, the original script was absolutely nothing like what came on air, but Vince loved the walkout idea so much because he's losing it.
Yeah, and
no one wanted to stand up to Vince because he'd get pissed. And the same thing happened this week. Vince, he saw one of the rewrites, one of the many rewrites. He absolutely loved it because he is losing touch.
It's just very obvious between Triple H's weird comments about broken fingers, Cody's weird maniacal laughter, and I'd be remiss if we didn't mention the amount of times Cena and Sheamus flubbed their lines at the beginning of the show. Just strikes that this whole thing was not even rehearsed.
Yeah. It's kind of obvious. I think that this entire angle, it started going downhill way back when it was revealed that Nash had texted Nash, but after last week with this walkout, they had put themselves into a fucking hole, and this was their attempt to get out of it. Because it was obvious that they would have to get rid of Triple H eventually, and the thing is, they could have waited a week and just brought up some guys from FCW or whatever, which I believe is what somebody else has suggested before. Or, hell, I saw people who were like, well, why not just do like 2 hours of, letting people who normally wouldn't get mic time have mic time? Although that was a bad idea, because if we shit on Impact for that 45-minute promo crap, why would this go over?
Well, here's another idea. If they had a bunch of time to kill for this schedule, why didn't they have some actually passable matches?
Because they don't want us to watch actual wrestling. They want us to watch, soap operas.
And I think in the end, it just went back to the status quo. And that's not good, because this is kind of like what happened last year. Once Nexus started to wind down, it was like, oh no, we're going back to the same old shit.
Well,
yeah, that was like a really bad booking decision around SummerSlam when they
rushed
pretty much
back.
destroyed it.
Hey guys.
No, I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking about last year.
Last year.
Hey guys, remember this year's Money in the Bank and how awesome we thought it was? And then I piped up and said, this won't last, and you all got mad at me.
Yeah.
To be fair, I wasn't here for that.
Well, I think that was probably more along the lines of, oh, let's enjoy this moment. But honestly, still don't really have a problem with the way the direction of the company in kayfabe. I don't. I think the worst has not happened.
If I have to say anything good about this, I'd say that Vengeance is at least looking decent right now.
Yeah.
And if anything, what I'll say to this is that at least some of the stuff that happened on this show and some of the stuff that happened on the other couple of shows the week before might lead into some interesting stuff for Survivor Series.
I mean, I'm still clamoring for the...
Like, something like Cody and Randy would actually probably be a bit of an entertaining match to watch that show. Same with something like Dolph and Zack Ryder.
I mean, I really want them to, make a feud proper with Cody and Randy between, them budding promos, but I mean, I'm still clamoring for the push that Daniel Bryan is going to be getting with the receipt from his new merchandise.
And actually, you're talking about how Cody and Randy doing the promos, the level of monotony in both of their voices will be too high for the audience to comprehend.
I will say this: it wasn't a good Raw by any means, but it wasn't one of the complaints I've seen a lot was that this really buried Punk, and I'm just not seeing that at all. It was a shitty Raw. It was a bad Raw. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't Triple H is suddenly the main focus of everything, and Punk is his little sidekick buddy. It was just
no. I mean, the very fact that he's working an extended program with Triple H is a good thing. Whatever role he's in, unless he's getting squashed week after week and not getting any mic time. We know that's not happening.
And before we move on to SmackDown, here is the big question for this show. Is it worse than the current benchmark for bad Raws, the Jeremy Piven, Dr. Ken Raw?
Ooh. Oh.
I will say that because I was in the crowd personally for that Raw, that it was not as bad, but only because I personally experienced how horrible that show was.
I actually thought the Viewer's Choice Raw up until the Nexus invasion was much worse than this. But then again, I don't even really consider this bad.
But yeah, this Raw sucked. Let's move on to something slightly less. Probably a much better show from what I've read about it. This is SmackDown for the day of October 14th, 2011.
Yeah, so the SmackDown starts off with them with the recap that they had shown on Raw of Big Show coming back and attacking Henry and laying him out to get his number one contendership. And then once that's over, they cut to Teddy Long. Teddy Long comes out and then is quickly followed by Johnny Ass Chin and I don't get why he's there.
I don't know. I'm guessing.
I'm thinking because they're doing the Super Show on Raw, therefore Johnny Ace has some kind of authority over the SmackDown wrestlers as well.
Yeah, it's pretty much because the brand separation, what little there was, is now completely gone. Because there were a ton of Raw superstars on the show, wasn't there?
Yeah. Punk, Morrison, Riley, Ziggler, Kingston,
Beth Phoenix.
Beth Phoenix.
Well, she was Divas champion, but
McIntyre,
Mason Ryan, Atunga.
But yeah, so we start off the show. We get a look back at Big Show with his injury and his beating the shit out of Mark Henry. And then Teddy Long comes out and he's joined by the Executive Vice President of Talent Relations and the new Interim General Manager of Monday Night Raw, John Laurinaitis. Actually hurts to do that voice.
Since
they shake hands, and then Kenny says, this is going to be part of history. And this episode of SmackDown moves SmackDown into the second place of the longest-running episodic weekly TV program, second only to Raw. And then
Who gives a fuck?
they decide that to celebrate with all of the WWE superstars under one roof, they're going to have the biggest battle royal in WWE history. The winner will have a title shot of against any champion of their choosing later tonight. Holla, holla, holla. Just take a quick guess who wins tonight. I'll give you a second. Orton.
And yeah, I'm gonna guess and say, go out on a limb here, Trent Beretta.
I'm going to say Matt Stryker.
Fool.
I'm going to say Jinder Mahal. You know, Jinder Mahal.
They actually made it seem like it was going to happen. That guy was like one of the last 5 or so.
I think it was one of the.
We cannot forget the excellent underdog that is Santino Marella.
Who did he remind people of when he came back? Like he reminded people of someone, and I forgot who. Like someone drugged out when he came back without the unibrow and like with the goatee. Like he looked a little bit disheveled.
He looked skinnier, and his head looked like it got crammed into the shape of a square. But yeah, we have match number 1, a 41-man battle royal for a title match of the winners choosing later tonight. Participants in the battle royal: CM Punk, John Morrison, Alex Riley, Kurt Hawkins, Dolph Ziggler, Kofi Kingston, Zack Ryder, Tyler Rex, Drew McIntyre, Mason Ryan, David Otunga, Primo, JTG, Michael McCullough, Percy Watson, Jack Swagger, Miz R-Truth, Santino Marella, Christian Daniel, Bryan Danielson, Cody Rhodes, Ezekiel Jackson, Yoshitatsu, Wade Barrett, Jinder Mahal, Sin Cara, El Terrible, Heath Slater, Ted DiBiase, Justin Gabriel, Derek Bateman, Trent Beretta, Johnny Curtis, William Regal, Tyson Kidd, Jimmy and Jey Uso, Matt Stryker, Sheamus, Titus O'Neil, and Randy Orton.
Yeah, save for Sheamus and Randy Orton. He was getting very FCW NXT down there.
I think Orton
Curtis
was the only one who really had an intro for this thing, or he's the only one whose music I can remember hearing.
John Morrison? Wow, that's giving him some. That's a rub right there for John Morrison. Anyway.
So yeah, this match, apparently, there's so little space in the ring that the last 2 participants can't really fit in the ring.
Well, this was 41 people in the ring at one time. It's gonna be a horribly cramped clusterfuck from the word go.
It was where you look at the battle royals with like just those crowds of fucking people. This is why I like the Royal Rumble a lot more. You come back from commercial and there's still 40 fucking people in that ring and you can't discern anything that's happening.
Yeah. Oh, also, for some reason, Sin Cara El Good is not in the ring. Mystica. We'll find out why later. But yeah, they're having their standard battle royal punch and slightly tap, and people get eliminated. Johnny Curtis gets eliminated by McIntyre.
Rhodes, the first one out, thanks to Orton.
Yes.
Hey, you got to humiliate last week. You don't get to be in this match.
There's no way to keep up with all of these eliminations.
Yeah, we can't really talk about everyone. Basically, like, who were the last 5 people in this?
Last 5 people. They go to commercial. This match, like, how long is this match?
I think the 5 were. I know Orton, Miz, Mahal, Barrett, and
Swagger.
Sheamus.
Sheamus was in there, and Sheamus. It's worth pointing out that he eliminated Christian, and he gets eliminated when Christian runs back out and throws him out.
So Orton eliminates Barrett. He throws Swagger out. He throws Jinder Mahal out, and then it's down to Miz and Orton, who go at it for a couple minutes before Orton gets rid of him too, and Orton wins. Let's all act surprised.
Honestly,
Orton won. I'm so surprised.
We should put over the finish. It was a very good finish.
Oh yeah, I will say that.
Basically, Orton has Miz on the apron. He RKO's the hell out of him on it, and they both fall down on the floor. but they were able to work it so that Miz technically landed double feet first. How the fuck did they do that? Like, how do you, I mean, rehearse, yeah, but like just the sequence of selling it, like Orton doing his part of it, I don't know, like, I think it's quite amazing that they could pull that off.
Yeah, that actually was a pretty good ending, because I was kind of expecting the usual tomfoolery where they send two people out at the same time, and it's like, oh well, we'll have to send them, have them have a match or something to decide who really won. But they made it pretty obvious that Orton won.
And then Josh Matthews comes out, congratulates Randy Orton, who will be facing tonight. He says, my decision was quite easy, because on Monday night, I said vengeance was mine. Therefore, I choose Mark Henry. He might as well have said one more match.
Or he might as well have said, I'm afraid I can't let you keep that belt, Mark.
Ugh.
Did Orton borrow Batista's Game Genie? What the hell?
Not belt, championship. Belt is a dirty word in wrestling now. But yeah, we see
CM Punk himself admits he turned it in from a belt to a championship title.
It's still a belt. You still wear it around your waist, unless you're John Cena. But regardless, we see Kelly and Eve Torres backstage. Just seeing them backstage knows that it is going to be a piss break. We come back with these two.
Well, they come back, and Del Rio's backstage with Ricardo Rodriguez, and Teddy Long bumps into him, and Teddy asks Del Rio where he's planning to go, and Alberto says, well, if Orton wants to fight Mark Henry, I have no reason to be here. And so Teddy says, well, that's great, playa, but you're going to have to go one-on-one with Sheamus, because Taker's not available at the moment.
He's too busy jet skiing. So yeah, we now get Beth Phoenix versus Kelly again. If only this was a blow off to this fucking feud. And thankfully Beth Phoenix wins, but I'm pretty sure
she wins clean.
Raw, she wins clean, but I'm pretty sure that on Raw she's going to lose to Eve Torres clean again.
Yeah, probably. The one thing that I fucking hate the most about Kelly, like in this feud, is that although she's supposed to be pissed off, she still comes to the ring with her arms raised, with a bright smile on her face, walking as stiff as a fucking robot, and
just to piss off our lovely benefactor No Leaf Clover, her and her pockets on tights.
She still has pockets on her tights. She goes for the handspring elbow, and Beth blocks it and throws her onto the apron, or throws her over the top rope, pulls her in, and hits the glam slam, and is over. Thank God, let's move on.
If only they had decided to do this, back at Night of Champions in Buffalo.
Well, they were in Buffalo, and Beth's from Buffalo. Can't have that happen. That'd be like a JR going to Oklahoma and not being humiliated.
So yeah, we come back from commercial break, and we see Sin Cara the Happy, as the results say.
Well, they're pretty much just calling them Sin Cara Azul, and Sin Cara, I really can't believe they're saying this, Negro.
Sin Cara Negro.
If we could get past like PC connotations, it is a legitimate Spanish word.
Can you imagine what Hunico's son would be if he adopts the Sin Cara gimmick? El Hijo de Sin Cara Negro.
And yeah, Arrow's right. Cole did call him Negra. So I guess they're just as uneasy as you guys. But I don't. Yeah. So they both botch. There's multiple ones of them. You could put them in Spider-Man pictures, and it's funny.
So yeah, we get
they cut backstage.
Sin Cara the Blue, he comes out, and then Sin Cara the Black attacks him and takes Sin Cara the Blue's mask and puts it on him.
And leaves his mask behind, and it's like, once it gets up, they cut back out to the ring, and they play Justin Gabriel's theme, because apparently that's who Sin Cara Bueno was supposed to be wrestling.
Nobody cares about Justin Gabriel anymore, and that's a shame.
Smash.
And from the pictures that I've seen of this, actually, doesn't Sin Cara the Black not change his gear? He still has the black gear, but the blue mask.
Oh yeah, and he also uses the theme. Whoa.
What are the point? The mask does not fit him. It looks like it's barely on there. So when he comes up, so that's what I noticed when he came out to the ring. I was like, that mask it looks like they tried to cram it's like they took a Mysterio mask and tried to put it on somebody with a big head. I don't know. So
yeah, this match, Sin Cara the Black wins. We come backstage.
Well, if anything, this is probably going to be their excuse to debut the new colors that they were showing off for Mystico earlier.
The new colors for Mystico?
The whole white attire.
Oh, so well, it is the Mexico tour this week, so maybe that's why. But yeah, so we go backstage, and Evan Bourne and Kofi Kingston are with the WWE Tag Team Champion. Well, no, yeah, they are the Tag Team Champions. They're with Teddy Long, to fix my speech. They are worried about Evan's safety, so he will not compete tonight, and instead, Evan appreciates it, but there's someone off camera who does not show the same sentiment as Teddy.
Excuse me?
You really don't like her voice, do you?
No, I don't. I'm not a Vicky Guerrero fan. She does her job well, but I just don't like her.
Yeah, but Vicky pokes her head in, and she pretends to be sad for poor Evan's health, and then reminds Teddy that Swagger and Ziggler have defeated Kofi and Evan last week, so she's like, I want their title match tonight. And Teddy says that's not going to happen, but he has somebody who can replace Evan for a match tonight. And in comes Zack Ryder.
Oh, woo, 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 woo.
You know it. And then we get from what the results say, he is assistant to the general manager, therefore Swagger and Ziggler will face Kofi and him. Vicky tells Zack to watch out because Dolph is gunning for him, which is everyone in the room looking the match, throws out a holla, responds with a woo woo woo, and we get a duck season, rabbit season moment with the two of them.
Woo woo woo. Holla holla holla. Woo woo woo.
Holla holla holla.
Holla holla holla.
Okay, we get the
woo
point.
woo woo. Now shoot. So yeah, next up, Alberto Del Rio with Ricardo Rodriguez versus the Great White King Miracle Whip Sheamus.
This match, as I recall, was decent for a TV match, like as you'd expect between those two. 7 minutes. Would have been more excited about it on a pay-per-view.
And it's a pretty good match, and
but again, the problem I was having on Raw, it has a bullshit overbooked finish. Because Christian comes out and decides to distract Sheamus and basically causes him to lose the match. And I gotta love that right after the match, he's lying. It basically reminded me of when Austin Aries debuted in TNA this year. Because he's just lying there with a cocky look on his face like, yep, I did that.
Probably copied it.
Probably. But then, so this match looks like it was good.
Yeah, it was alright until the finish. And then Christian decides to attack Sheamus and spears him twice. And it just kind of bugs me that Sheamus doesn't really sell the spear.
Well, they at least want to give him some kind of credit as a babyface and as a big guy. He basically doesn't really know sell, but he slowly gets up from the first spear.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised that they've got Christian doing the spear now, because I guess they've decided the kill switch isn't good enough for something anymore.
The thing was that, Edge retired, and it's his tribute to Edge, even though Edge called him a whiny little bitch.
Well, the thing about the Unprettier, I will admit, I like the move, but it takes way too fucking long. I don't think WWE's really into moves that either aren't in two sequences, like the fireman carry, slam, fireman carry, knee, or just like a quick one like the RKO.
Yeah. See, I'll say something I'll give Goldberg credit here, because when he would do his spear, he would do him from just like standing. Like he wouldn't, a lot of the time he wouldn't, take the time to go to the corner and prepare. Like he would just do it as a reversal, and that would be the finisher into the jackhammer. So there's some credit on Goldberg for that.
Yeah.
Unlike when Edge or Christian do it, they spend 30 seconds setting the move up, and most of the time they don't hit it to begin with.
Actually, the only situation in which I like that was when Skip Sheffield speared Edge. He is the right person for a move like that.
Yeah, well, it is Skip Sheffield, and it's so saddening that we haven't seen him back yet.
Yeah, I think he needs to get another surgery to see what the deal is. And that sucks. That guy promised. I don't want him to turn out to be kind of like a Mr. Kennedy, where he's so injury prone that it inhibits his progress.
Yeah. So, anyway, we after the next commercial break, we come back and Vicky's out to introduce Swagger and Ziggler, and so the next match is Ryder and Kingston versus Ziggler and Swagger, and
Ryder and Kings. Oh, I thought you said Ziggler and Ryder versus.
Ryder and Kingston versus Ziggler and Swagger, and
okay.
it was probably the best match of the night.
It was a substantial match.
Well, it is Zack Ryder.
It's just nice to see Zack Ryder get a match that lasts for more than 5 minutes.
Plus, this is the third time he's gone over Dolph.
Just give him the United States Championship already.
Imagine though if the feud that they're doing on Z True Long Island Story, where he attacked Chiappetta, and he has that weird mask. He brings that in. And they turn that into something on TV.
Oh yeah, and speaking of Chiappetta, for any listeners that didn't know, apparently the reason why he's so close with Zack Ryder and Ryder's able to mention him is because he's written a book or two for the WWE. He wrote a kayfabe story. No, he wrote a fictional account of Kane's background.
Oh yeah, I think Journey into Darkness. Just let me look that up actually.
Yeah, that's the one. But nonetheless, there's some good humor, in terms of the finish when Kofi does the Trouble in Paradise and Ziggler puts Zack Ryder, the legal man, on top of lateral press Ziggler, and Cole of course goes, "Not this way." It's
actually,
subverted.
I think one of the interesting things, if they decide to do they decide to bring Chiappetta into this, and make Ziggler and Swagger, not Ziggler and Swagger, Ziggler and Ryder an actual feud, is if they bring in the other people from Z True Long Island Story, bring in the Big O and bring in Zack's dad. Imagine what the hell's the deal with the Big O? I don't know who he is.
He's one of Zack's friends, and he's big.
And he's basically
in the New York wrestling connection.
Very, very humorous kind of roid rage kind of gimmick he has, where he's just really pissed off.
And even then, just from the promos he's cut on Z True Long Island Story, he's a big, muscular dude who can actually talk.
I don't like him. I don't
can
think
be
he's
a bit much sometimes.
And yes, it says right here, Michael Chiappetta and David Stern wrote Journey into Darkness.
Yeah.
So,
Zack and Kofi win. We go to commercial. Firstly, we get a recap of what happened on Monday, because SmackDown is half of SmackDown is actual SmackDown stuff. Half of it is just recapping Raw.
Well, actually, I'll have more to say on this in a later segment, but I don't really think we need to retread that, because now we're backstage with Matt Stryker interviewing Sheamus. And I gotta tell you, I love Sheamus's interviews, because he's always got stories.
Well, he is Irish, so he has Irish relatives, and they always have fun stories. In this particular story, he says that Christian is a pain in his ass, and they can't get rid of him. Christian reminds him of a troll named Gilby. It was a troll that was ugly, dim-witted, and slow. The troll bit of a man crossing a bridge in his arse. It happened until a great white bull crossed the bridge, and the troll tried to do the same, but the bull kicked the troll off the bridge. It says, next time I see Christian, I will kick his slow, dim-witted face off his skull. I've lapsed.
You heard this right, fans. Sheamus has become Indian.
I lapsed into chic at the end.
Yes, that was the. Wow, that was awkward.
So, after this promo, they recap the Big Show stuff again, because we haven't apparently we might have forgotten in the hour and 45 minutes up to this point, and then they show what happened between Orton and Rhodes on Raw, and
whatever.
Well, let's just get to the next match. Actually, let's not.
Oh yeah, actually, did you mention that they re-aired the Big Show promo that they did at the beginning of the night?
Yeah. That's what I was talking about, where they were...
And Central.
Just why? Fuck. Whatever, let's just get on with this. We're almost done.
Yeah, not much to say about this match.
It's exactly the same as the last 500 times we've seen it.
It's Henry versus Orton, round 2 of week whatever. And it's Henry versus Orton. Except a bit longer. So, match ends when Cody Rhodes comes out to interfere again.
And Randy Orton wins again by disqualification. Because the best way to put over your monster heel of a champion is to have him lose by disqualification.
Again.
It's another situation where two different priorities cross paths. I don't think that their kayfabe is any corroboration between Mark Henry and Cody Rhodes. It's a coincidence that he's losing by disqualification.
Yeah.
I will defend that on those grounds.
Yeah, it's kind of obvious Orton does have problems with, or Rhodes has problems with Orton, and it's just not making Henry look any good by having Rhodes keep on getting involved. And the thing is, Rhodes had gone into the ring, and the referee was fine, but once Henry hit Orton from behind. Henry gets up and hits Orton from behind as Orton goes for his draped DDT on Rhodes.
No, I think that was an LOPR. I think they meant to say Rhodes. That's why the...
No, because didn't Henry attack Orton from behind as Orton was going for the draped DDT on Rhodes? And then the referee calls for the bell because...
The second week of a main event having a really wanky finish.
Yeah, wonky.
Wanky, wickery, whatever.
If it was wanky, it would just have a lot of near falls and feature a lot of no-selling. Fuck.
And
then... Forgettable.
But yeah, Big Show comes to the ring, and Cody bails, and Show punches Henry in the face, shoulder tackles, then Orton and Show beat up Mark Henry, beat up the monster heel champion. That certainly makes him strong.
Show gets hits Henry with the choke slam, which I was actually kind of surprised about because I wasn't expecting Henry to get as much air as he did on that choke slam, considering how he usually looks when they try to do it.
Well, yeah. It says might have a tag match next week. Not really sure.
It's bloody obvious that there's going to be a tag match next week. There are 4 guys in the ring at one time who don't like each other. and it's Teddy Long.
Yeah. Or if it was if Teddy Long had the right guys, be like both of those teams facing off in a 2-team handicap match against The Undertaker. Yeah. WWE this week kind of sucked.
It did.
SmackDown
had some all right matches.
Did it suck the Impact dick?
No.
No, because Impact is usually just
elements.
Incomprehensible.
I think
WWE's basic problem was that they clearly rewrote all their scripts and everything was rushed.
Yeah, if anything definitely can be confirmed, it's that seems to be what's going around. They are drastic changes, but
yeah, and really, I think this is just a bad week for wrestling in general because all 3 shows weren't that great. Depending on who you ask.
We had the most lackluster Raw in a number of months. We had SmackDown, which was okay, but not as good as you would think. And then we had Impact, which we all talked about yesterday, and I don't think any of us want to talk about it again.
Yeah.
We have to fucking deal with Bound for Glory tomorrow.
I mean, for all the times I defended Raw, like, it wasn't that good, but I really don't think it was that terrible either. It really, it's all meh. Like, this is all too, like, overbooked shit. But like, I see some kind of sense in it beyond, like, say, random lines or plot points that they're probably gonna have no consequence of, like, within the next 3 or so weeks.
By the time Survivor Series happens, all of this stuff that's happened will never be mentioned again.
Yeah, who the fuck knows?
The last 3 months of WWE programming will be one gigantic big-lipped alligator moment.
Yeah,
but really, at the end of the day, a lot of professional wrestling is that one gigantic big-lipped alligator moment that can either make the fans really happy or piss off the fans, usually pissing off the fans.
Yeah, and honestly, my problem with Raw is that at the very least, they should have tried to make Laurinaitis look like he wasn't blatantly corrupt. Like, maybe have him do something for the faces. But
the problem with that, though, is that they haven't been doing that ever. They have been just smacking the audience over the head with, hey, Laurinaitis is the bad guy here. He wants to get Triple H out of power. Ever since Triple H became the COO.
Well, the funny thing about that is that, like, when he initially became the COO, and John Laurinaitis was doing his shenanigans, they were putting him over as evil. He also looked kind of like a fool because he was getting pretty much punched out in every segment that broke down into chaos. He was definitely evil, but he also looked kind of flimsy. It's not until now that, like, his power is really consolidating.
Well, that's because he has the board of directors on his side, and because Triple H can't do a thing to stop him, even though Triple H is his boss.
Yeah, and the board of directors, like, if there's some sort of logic in the WWE, the board of directors should be like, why did you hire back the guys who were causing all of these problems in the first place?
Well, don't forget, the board of directors itself is made up of a bunch of people who you would not expect to be wrestling fans in the first place. Like, I know for a fact that one of the guys on the board of directors is Lowell P. Weicker, who used to be the governor here in Connecticut. And Vince McMahon's been friends with him. See, it says right here, this is from what Wikipedia says, the WWE Board of Directors. Vince McMahon, Chairman of the Board of Directors, Chief Executive Officer. Basil DeVito, Senior Advisor, Business Strategy. David Kennan, Executive Vice President of Programming, Hallmark Channel. Frank Riddick III, Consultant, Towerbrook Capital.
That is a cool name.
Jeffrey Speed, Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer for Six Flags. Joseph Perkins, President Communications Consultant Incorporated. Kevin Dunn, Executive Vice President Television Production. Patricia A. Gottesman, President and Chief Executive Officer of Crimson Hexagon. That is an awesome company name. And Stuart Goldfarb, President and Chief Executive Officer of Atrinsic Inc. So, yeah, I was wrong about Lowell P. Weicker. I knew he used to be on the board of directors, but I guess he left sometime. But these are a bunch of people from other different companies. Except for Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn, you would not expect any of these people to know a fucking thing about professional wrestling. So in kayfabe, they don't understand it at all. about is making money because WWE is a publicly traded company. Therefore, their main purpose is to make money. And apparently they think that the best way to make money is by having Johnny Ace, Executive Vice President John Laurinaitis, be the dude running their flagship show. And considering the way that things went on Monday, not a lot of money is going to be made. They very haphazardly put the main event for Vengeance in there, and that's not going to make any buys to begin with because of the fact that it only happened 3 weeks after Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, but I think it's time we start wrapping this up. So,
yeah. What gets more screen time than insert low
Jay Lethal? It's still Jay Lethal.
Yeah, just go with Jay Lethal. We'll be here all night trying to think of someone. And I'm just going to go with bullshit. Overbooked finishes get more screen time than Jay Lethal.
John Laurinaitis' very prominent ass-shaped chin. I can't get over this. It gets more screen time than Jay Lethal.
Botch standing up gets more screen time than Jay Lethal.
Damn it.
Kelly and Eve Torres going over every person in the Divas locker room, even though they don't deserve it one bit, gets more screen time than Jay Lethal.
That was accurate. Yeah, that was the dark match. I'm Christopher Says.
I'm Lone Warrior.
I'm your Foxy friend Backlash.
And I'm the fat one, Subrick. Please, WWE, get better. Bye-bye.
Vengeance will be all right. Goodbye.
Can I wear your blazer? You can even wear my blazer. I'm in.